KFC, it's finger licking good.
Eno, yes, Salam TV.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا والصلاة والسلام على رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. قال الله تعالى بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Al-Ayah. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us yet another opportunity to be among those who are still alive and can be able to add on their good deeds in this month of Ramadan. We ask him to grant us good health so that we can be able to complete the month of Ramadan. May Allah's peace and mercy be descended upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam for whatever he did, to see to it that Islam descends to the far parts of the world. And here we are Muslims, and we are taking the pride to be Muslims. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this TV program, the Alhadaayah show, the Monday edition, where we focus on Islam and science, and we have been able to talk a number of things since we started this series. For those who have not been able to be following keenly, I just wanted to encourage you that you go to our Salam TV YouTube channel, and you can be able to retrieve a number of programs that can bring you up to speed. So this evening, inshallah, we will be looking at something that we started on last week regarding the health benefits of fasting Ramadan. And we made the definition, we looked at the types of fasting, and we also looked at some of the health benefits that we derive from fasting. And this evening we'll be looking at another aspect to do with the recommended kind of nutrition during the month of Ramadan. But for the interest of people who could have missed the program last week, I just wanted to have a recap of what we covered last time, inshallah ta'ala. I'm your host, Brother Menya Ayub Kimbedi, in the studio, and with me to take you through this program is Sister Dr. Nachinsige Hadija, who happens to be a senior lecturer at the Chambogo University and the head of department at the Department of Food Nutrition, food processing. So I'm here with her to discuss with me this program, and I just wanted to invite her to say salam, and we'll be able to tackle the aspect of today, inshallah ta'ala. Assistant Nachinsige, please, most welcome to this program.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Mr. Moderator, Brother Menya Ayub, brothers and sisters who are viewing Salam TV, plus our followers on the different virtual platforms, I take this opportunity to greet you with the best of the greetings taught to us by our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I thank Allah for the gift of life and health, and I congratulate everyone who has been able to tap from the benefits of Ramadan this year. As introduced last week, we introduced the topic of nutrition, and we looked at the health benefits of fasting. We saw that fasting helps in caloric reduction, and that implies that it can be used in the management of a few ailments, including diabetes and some cardiovascular diseases, particularly those ones which are caused by accumulation of high density lipoproteins, say cholesterol and other fats, either around our vital organs or even inside blood vessels. And when you fast, it comes along with numerous benefits, because whenever the body is not able to derive the required energy from the meal that you have just taken on, it resorts to your reserves. And in hierarchy, the first reserves to be utilized are the fats. So first, the body will try to get energy from fats, and in so doing, you'll find that these, what we can term as bad fats, which are within your body, are reduced as a result of fasting. We also saw that fasting helps, mental health, because of the psychological nature, the psychological benefit of it as a stress reliever. And stress or even distress is one of the major causes of disease, poor immunity, a poor diet, and so many other non-communicable diseases. So fasting really benefits someone beyond just the normal nutritional benefits. We also looked at the issue of weight loss, and we said that fasting can help to manage someone's weight, especially if someone is observing a very good diet, taking in only those foods which are appropriate during the time that they are fasting. And there are many more benefits that can come along, but maybe for today we can only summarize those ones.
Barakallahu fikum, jazakumullah khair. At least for the viewer who missed the previous program, you can be able to, to be brought up to speed just by those few hints that Dr. Nachinsiga has just made mention. Now, today's gist of our discussion this evening, we wanted to look at the recommended kind of nutrition, call it diet, because oftentimes we fall into problems. Either somebody is anticipating to get so hungry during the day, and will have to, to overstock his stomach or her stomach. Even during the breaking of the fast, somebody, because he has been hungry for some time, then somebody gets into, breaking the fast and wants to, to overstock, overfill his or her stomach. Now, talking about this aspect, let's start with somebody who is breaking the fast. Scientifically, what is most appropriate? Because I can have my either posho, I can have my chapati, there are fruits there. I have, access to many things that, they are within my reach. But according to Islam and science, what should be the recommended kind of diet if I'm breaking my fast? Let's start from there.
Okay, thank you very much. Breaking the fast. When you look at our timetable during Ramadan, once the adhan is called, we normally break our fast. Then we go for Maghrib. Then we come back and have a heavy meal. And then following that, we go for Isha and Taraweeh. So it is important that we let us first consider what should be consumed at these different, when you look at the timelines. Let us start with breaking the fast. You have not been eating for over 12 hours. and now you're breaking your fast. That means that your stomach is empty. So the ideal is that since the stomach is empty, you begin with something very light. And as Muslims, we are encouraged to begin with dates because it is a sunnah. And it's because dates, they have a lot of calories, because they have a lot of carbohydrates. They are sweet and they are not acidic. So that implies that even if we have not been having a lot of energy, I know very many people after Aswil, they are not even able to do any activity. They are just seated there, maybe doing azkar and just waiting for the adhan. And
even doing azkar is an activity.
Yes, but it is less energy demanding.
Yes.
So oftentimes they don't do those activities that demand a lot of energy or a lot of calories. So what happens is that this person is either involved in light activities, except for us, maybe women, because at that time most women are at the peak of preparations for iftar. So you find that for them they are really active. But start with something very light. You can start with a glass of water, a date, a glass of water. You can start with something to hydrate the body, because you have not been eating since morning and the body is dehydrated. So begin with something that can hydrate your body. In the Ugandan setup, what is available in our local market, a banana is okay. Have a banana, have a glass of water. You can even have a glass of juice, but please make sure that that juice is not too acidic. Don't begin with lemon juice. Do not begin with orange juice or all the citrus fruits, lemon, grape, tamarind, because they are high in acid. Pineapple, ginger, all those food items that have got a high acidity or a low pH, they should be avoided, because remember that since the stomach is empty, the lining of the intestines is bare. So if you put in acid at the beginning, this acid is going to burn off that lining of the GIT, and that, if you do not have ulcers, it may cause ulcers, or if you have, then it is going to increase at the rate at which these wounds accelerate. So what you can do when you're breaking your fast, it is very important that you look at something that can give you some energy, because you don't have energy since you have been fasting the whole day. Then you look at something that can hydrate the body, because you have not been drinking the whole day, the body is dehydrated. So if you take a date, because it is a sunnah, then you can have a banana, you can have a glass of water, you can have a glass of juice, but that juice should not be from either those fruits which have a high level of acidity. And then there are also other, for example, you're at a function, they have organized an iftar dinner, and there is even carbonated drinks like soda. Don't break your fast with soda, because soda has got, one, the acidity level is high, but it also has a lot of gas. Remember, you're taking food on an empty stomach, so please do not break your fast with foods which have a lot of gas. So ideally soda should be out, but juice, from maybe watermelon juice, cucumber juice, guava, pear, those fruits which are not acidic, that is encouraged at the time when we are breaking our fast. Also, don't break with foods which are high in caffeine, because caffeine is a drug. So if you begin with a lot of caffeine, since it's a stimulant, that is going to disorganize your system. So first begin with those other foods which do not contain caffeine. So please do not break your diet on a cup of coffee on an empty stomach, and then you're holding a cup of coffee. I would also discourage you from beginning with foods which are so fatty. You're breaking your fast, and then the first thing you put into your mouth is something which is highly fatty, something that has a lot of fat. Begin with something that is not so fatty, that is not so oily, fatty or oily, that is not so acidic, that is not too salty. Then that way you can have that light meal, and let it be light, something that can easily be digestible. Since the GIT has not been working on anything since morning, then don't start by overloading it. You know, just like when we are young, we don't begin with running and walking, but maybe we begin with crawling, then from crawling we can stand, and then from there we can be able to walk. So equally, start with something very light, then we break and go for Maghrib, and then maybe after we have done our Maghrib, then we can come back and we now have the dinner, and the dinner now should be heavier than the first one, because at least with breaking the fast, it implies that now the body is ready to eat. And you know, digesting food is regulated by hormones. So once you tell your stomach that now we are bringing food, psychologically, the pituitary gland releases hormones that tell your digestive system to release the gastric juices that will digest the food. So if at breaking your fast you only had 1, 2 or 3 dates and maybe a glass of water, now the enzymes are now ready to consume. So it is advisable that after Maghrib, then do not delay, you know, the next meal.
Which is the dinner.
Yes, because if you delay the next meal, it implies that a lot of the GIT is going to produce a lot of gastric, you know, juices and acids, preparing to eat food. Yet the food is not yet ready. So at least the time or the interval between breaking our fast, then we'll go for Maghrib, the next meal should be drawn closer.
Okay, thank you, Sister Hadija. Now, you're talking about a light meal. We are going also to talk about what should be taken for the dinner, at least that heavy meal. But before we get there, there are cultures, I should call them cultures now, like the Turkish and some few brothers in the Asian continent.
Yes.
For them, when you break the fast, you have to first take the heavy meal before you go for even Maghrib. So is it something that, you know, has been a kind of an oversight, or because for them that is how they do it?
And let us address the issue of our brothers, especially from the Arab world. Maybe we first put Turkey aside, but we look at the people that stay in the Gulf. The temperatures are very high. By the time, if you have had Arab friends, during Ramadan they don't do anything. First, many of them take leave from their jobs. Almost their activities end with aswil, and then all they are doing is waiting for breaking the fast. This will even put the food there, and they are just waiting to hear the adhan. In fact, if by mistake someone says Allah,
somebody will just
yes,
go.
You can.
Actually, they usually for them, their active hours is only the morning. Once it gets to the Dhuhri, they go into hibernation, they kairula and they like until but anyhow, during the breaking of the fast,
they eat a lot.
Yes.
So you assume that they eat a lot.
No. The interval, because for them, as you have described,
yes,
you just have to first have a light meal at the breaking of the fast, then you go for prayer, then have the heavier dinner. Now, for them, what they do at the breaking of the fast is when they will have even that heavier meal before they even go for the Maghrib. Yeah.
Because you know what? In their environment, the temperatures are so high that you find that they don't really have energy. So what they are looking for at that particular time, they are looking for energy. But also when you look at their food, it is normally meat and either rice or wheat or products made from wheat like naan. Now when you look at those foods, none of them is acidic. The only difference is that they have a high concentration of energy, of calories or carbohydrates. And reason is because these people, they don't have energy at all, so they are looking for energy. That's why we say that for us here, if you begin with a light meal and you get that little energy that can take you for Maghrib, then you can come and have a heavy meal. But when you look at the diets of these people, they are normally either cereals, and cereals do not have acid. It is actually more of carbohydrates or meat. And for them, by the way, they are accustomed to eating meat because they are not like us. For us here in Uganda, when we say you're eating meat, you're just eating some few pieces of meat floating in water. But for them, someone is used to having maybe meat for breakfast, meat for lunch, and meat for dinner. But because of their environments, the temperatures are so high, they are able to burn all that. Their bodies are able to burn all the fat that comes with the meat, and therefore, the effect that meat has on us,
not really
cannot be comparable to the effect that it has to the people in the other zone. But even them, they do not take acidic foods. They do not take foods with a lot of caffeine. Actually, they also don't take highly salty. In fact, if you look at their recipes, at times they are even preparing rice and they add sugar.
Yes.
Even stew, they add sugar. So their diets are high in energy, but they are low in salt. They are low in fat. They are low in acids. So for them, at least they can. And I'm not saying that when you take it is a crime, but I'm looking at a digestive system that has not been active
for the past 13 or 14 hours.
And now you're giving it a lot of food. And when you look at, for example, our friends, the Arabs, after doing that, then that's when they have the energy to pray Maghrib. You know, all along they didn't have the energy to pray Maghrib. That's the reality, that they feel they do not have even the energy, even to read. For them, they read the Quran during the morning hours. In the evening, they are just waiting for the adhan to rejuvenate their bodies. Otherwise, they are at the lowest of the low when it comes to energy. But I don't want us to follow their suit. And I'll give you an explanation as to why.
Please.
If you go to a hospital and you have not been eating for some time, maybe because of illness, when you start eating, you don't even start from food. In the hospital, there are formulas which are specially designed for people who have been fasting for different reasons, whether it's been illness and you're off food. Now they begin by giving you fluid foods, which are high in energy. In nutrition, they have F75. Now we have just recovered. They increase to F100. Then they increase until when you can be able to digest food that even has fiber. So at the point of fasting, of breaking the fast, even food that is rich in fiber is discouraged, because what you're looking for at that particular time is energy. And our friends, the Arabs, consume a lot of cereal, which is refined and has a lot of energy. And I think given the temperature that side, it is okay. Actually, you have even realized, even here in Uganda, this Ramadan. This Ramadan is so unique compared to all the others that we have ever had. It is very hot. And because it is very hot, in fact, very many people also, by the time it is
acid time,
someone will even tell you, I don't even have the energy to talk on phone. Please call me after iftar, because of the heat. You know, because the heat, you see what happens physiologically. every time you increase temperature, you increase the rate of any reaction. So that means that even the digestibility and the absorption of enzyme of energy and nutrients, once the temperatures are very high, it occurs at a very fast
rate.
It occurs at a very fast rate.
Well, talking about that, I have a friend. Is a bit weird, I may say. Just say I'll bring this example just to you know, so that we can have some learning point. For him, he tells me, and I've seen him do it. Once he breaks his fast, he usually takes either a glass of water and maybe a banana. And will not have a heavier meal until up to around 10 or so, until we finish Tarawih.
Even after Tarawih.
So he tells me that whenever I have a heavier meal, I will not be able to pray Tarawih, and there are so many who do this. So for him, it's like, I want to remain somebody who is late until I have Tarawih. And the dilemma now will be, immediately after Tarawih, somebody will need to to go to bed. So what kind of advice can you give to this person?
Let us address two things
As we wind up.
Yes, as we wind up. One is eating, and immediately after eating you go to bed. That is also discouraged. Ideally, in nutrition, you're supposed to eat. Actually, even the Prophet taught that. You're supposed to eat and delay sleeping for some good time. I know that here in Uganda we have a very bad culture. You eat supper at 10 p.m. and you go to bed immediately. In fact, after washing your hands,
into bed.
Straight away you walk to bed. That is discouraged. The ideal is that you eat and delay for at least 3 hours before you go to bed. So if you're going to sleep immediately after Tarawih, then it is very important that you eat 3 hours before the time that you're going to sleep. Then also talking about the issue of the meal, someone taking a very light meal. You know, you can take something very light, but when it has a lot of energy. Like for example, you see dates. They are sweet, they have a high energy content. So if you take a few dates, then a glass of water and a banana, maybe to that person that is enough energy to take them through the Tarawih. But I would discourage that kind of act, especially when you look at if you look at hospital records, they will tell you that so many brothers and sisters have ulcers. And one of the causes of these ulcers is particularly that someone delays food at the point when psychologically they have informed their brain to produce everything that should tell the stomach to produce the gastric juices that are supposed to digest food. So the gastric juices are produced and yet there is no food. So that burning sensation is what causes ulcers. So to prevent that, at least have something that can cover up a small percentage of your GIT. You have adequate energy and you go for Tarawih. Then the other issue about Tarawih, by the way.
Yes, in 30 seconds.
The other issue that is about Tarawih is it has long-standing hours. Just like you cannot go for exercise, you cannot go for a football match when you have not eaten. It is very important that you have enough energy because you're going to stand for
at least an hour.
Yes, for at least an hour of standing. That is one. So it is actually also very important that on top of having enough energy, you should have enough hydration, and additionally you should also have enough iron. Enough iron such that you don't get anemic. And when we say iron, we mean those in Uganda, our Baganda commonly says in other words, all foods which can prevent iron deficiency, anemia, because you wouldn't wish to be having Tarawih and then you faint as a result of not having enough blood flowing within your body. So to avoid that, it is very important that we prepare our energy sources. And energy does not necessarily come from a heavy plate of food. But it comes for as long as you have consumed, even if it is a small piece of food, but it has a lot of calories, then you are good to go. You can go for your talawehe, and you still have the energy and the charisma that it takes to stand, and you wait for the imam to recite maybe one juzu, and you're still able to stand and nothing will happen to you.
Barakallahu fikum wa jazakumullahu khair, Dr. Sister Nachinsige, for giving us that kind of insight. Of course, the program, we have cut it short because of time. We could not exceed our time that is designated for this program. But I just wanted to assure you that come next week, we will be continuing right out from there. So please continue to be glued to this program. Inshallah ta'ala, you get a lot more, at least within this Ramadan. Everything that is pertaining Ramadan, it will be, talked about, especially to do with nutrition. With that, we come to the end of this program. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.